so Ian can hear.
They should tell you.
Down. Do you want me to hold that? So you can
Do you want it to go around the other way?
Oh, we right?
Funny, they never did this to me when I won.
You right? Is that feeling secure? Is that good? If they give you a 1 minute or something, can you just say it? Just repeat what
If they say something
If they
like
say
that.
1 minute to you, just let me know because I can't hear them, and then
Just the feed that's television at the moment.
Yep, that's good. That's very good. Gary had said, Michael, don't try and remember names. But if they say 1 minute to you, just...
We can't help it, they're all terrible dumb.
Does anyone want to take my place?
Oh, would you like me to lead
spot.
us?
This is your chance. National television.
I can step in and say a couple of things if you like.
Who's the real crazy one?
That'll be me again, won't it?
He's got the camera already, mate.
Hearing them okay?
Can't get to me, maybe in the next half hour.
You are kidding me. Oh, sorry, everyone.
Well, there's no surprises there. That's the ABC for you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Travis Carter here at Carter's Corner. We're at the Nationals after party for 89.7 FM. We're actually here at the Geraldton Golf Course, and next to me we have the one and only Ian Blaney, the former MLA from the Nationals for Geraldton. So I'm here with Ian. My understanding is commiserations are in order. Yep, so how do you feel after this campaign? You put effort into it.
I think we ran a very good campaign. I had a lot of help. I had quite a bit of help from the Nationals in New South Wales. Although I didn't win, I'm actually looking at some of those results on the screen and I'm saying, well, we actually ran a pretty good campaign.
Especially with considering the amount of money, that extra money the Labor government had for their COVID coverage and all that sort of stuff. Do you think that played a massive contributing factor towards the loss for this election?
I think this election was all about COVID. Last election here, they turned it into a referendum on Barnett and nearly knocked me over. This time they turned it into a referendum on has the government handled COVID well, and worked beautifully. And you could tell that they'd done that by the fact they'd spent $100,000 on polling to see what public reaction was to the measures that they were taking when they started doing it. I mean, to me that's outrageous, but that's the utter cynicism of this government.
Yep, exactly. And how can any party compete when you've got that sort of advertising all year round? So let's focus on something positive this time. So whilst you were an MLA up here, I understand you've done some massive work around education, around infrastructure in the local area. Tell the people some of the things that you've actually managed to achieve in the last 4 years.
In education, we spent about $55 million, the Barnett governments. I think Labor's spent about $3 million in the 4 years since. We spent $31 million at the local TAFE college developing that. I think they've spent $2 or $3 million maybe, and that's been a pattern right across. They spent nothing on housing. We spent quite a lot of money on housing. So we've now got a big homeless problem. They allowed our homeless shelter to close. They allowed the another place for the homeless to close. They've just ignored us. They told us they'd build a new hospital, and all they've built's a...
Okay, so clearly, once again, the Labor government have abandoned the regional areas, and we need people like yourself, hopefully in the next 4 years, to run again and actually give the people of the regional areas a voice once again. So, Ian, is there anything you'd want to finish up on before I let you go back to the party?
I always considered I was very lucky to have the job, and I've loved doing it. I've worked very hard, but I'm also happy to move on.
Fantastic. $1 million question now. Do you think you'll run again?
Almost certainly not.
Okay. No worries. Enjoy your time. Enjoy the party, and well done. And thank you for your last 4 years of service. So this is Travis Carter on the Carter's Corner. We are here at the Nationals after party. We will be wandering around later on today, having a chat to hopefully some of the volunteers as well. So stay tuned, keep watching, and we'll be around shortly. Thank you very much again. Enjoy.
Multicultural Association was supposed to show them. Yeah. Usually we do festivals like
Yes, Diwali.
and so Yvonne Lovely is the lady who took up
She's still there. Yeah, I know Yvonne very well.
they videoed all of us.
Oh, did they?
They did a video production.
Yeah.
And they put it in the cinema because COVID. They didn't have that.
Yeah, I saw Yvonne a little while ago.
If you're part of the show,
Yeah, I sent her an email. Yeah.
we didn't sure have yourself in the forefront.
Yeah.
Next time, I'm going to go. But Shane loves a good friend because he comes and helps us a lot. I just started a pharmacy in my practice. Well, I had to because the pharmacy closed. It's a 200 round trip for people, so it just burnt me out. But he was really helpful. I love it in a way, but when the pharmacy came to do that, I felt a bit stuck. I could never move from here. I'm a bit of a gypsy. I've been all over North Queensland and get settled here. But then I thought, well, I don't want to be anywhere else. So it just burnt me out, but I'm back again. And Shane was very good. He helped with all the licensing and all the things. No, I mean, on the pharmacy license, yeah. There's only about a handful in the whole country of GPs with the pharmacy license. I mean, it's a big difference on big but I've got a fantastic pharmacy system. And so they do Western Wine. And she does the dispensing with the check it because the license is amended. I think we got it running now very well. We've been in touch and I've known him since I was in New York. I think it's quite privileged. I said, give me a t-shirt this time. Oh, look, they do a lot, the Mexicans and the Sherry's. I have a lot of local touch in that space. It's unfortunate. Shane helped me. Because Shane won by a huge well, he's winning this trip down, but he's way out there. He's way out there. He was worried. He said, don't know, he wasn't very receptive. He said, maybe I'm busy, but they know that you're a familiar face. And I know that that's who does it. During the holidays or something, my daughter might be there, so it's a nice. I work Monday to Thursday, and then Fridays I come in. I get out of boarding school, she comes in. She's at college here. Do you? You know Ruth then, Mary and Marie. And I got my friend Wendy. Yes. Is she? Oh, Wendy loves Wendy. Good. She said Miss Holland always brought me. She doesn't care about Miss Holland's giving anyway. So, but I said, she said, Miss Wendy is lovely. She loves us. Oh my God, thank you.
I'll inside the national party.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Travis Carter here for Carter's Corner. On the phone with us, we have the candidate for the agriculture region from One Nation, Rod Caddies, and we've also got the South Metro Upper House candidate for also for One Nation, Phil Scott. Welcome to the stream, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, Seth.
Yep. So we'll start with Rod Caddies as the president of the party. How do you feel your chances are with this election?
Oh, I was feeling pretty strong going into the election. I've been on the road for 8 weeks, had a lot of good feedback out in the regions, had a lot of support from people out there, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes as the voting starts to come in the regions, but the feedback I got from the different booths today that I had people on, including my own, was very strong. We had a lot of support, a lot of people saying they're voting for us, so hopefully as more numbers come in from the regions, our vote will climb there.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So do you think you'll get across the line?
Oh, look, it's hard to tell because they haven't really done much of the regional seats yet. It looked pretty bad, the figures that just come out there then. There was a massive collapse in vote in the first, I don't know how many even that was for that was counted. However, going on myself, being on the voting booth, I've been on the whole pre-polling the whole time. And like I said, today, I had a huge response from people that were voting for me. It was great. So I would hope there'll be a lot of good votes coming in for me as the night goes on.
Fantastic. So I'm going to throw the same question over to you, Phil, down at South Metro there. How do you feel you went down in the South Metro region?
Look, I always thought it was going to be difficult with 3 weeks of polling because it puts the major parties at a distinct advantage with the resources they've got. And I think, obviously when there's a crisis on, people tend to stay with the incumbent. So to actually break through was always going to be difficult. But I'm not disheartened. There were some positives came out of this campaign, and I think it could be an entirely different ballgame.
Fantastic. So we've been keeping an eye on the Channel 9 and the ABC streams out of it. There was it was a called Labor government with only 1% of the counted. Do you think that's the fair and reasonable thing to do, or do you think ABC and Channel 9 have been jumping the gun?
Well, I suppose, the psephologists, that's what they study. They do this computer extrapolation. I thought it was a bit early. I was watching myself. But it seems now that prediction is fairly accurate.
Fantastic. All right, now, Rod Caddies, how much of an impact do you think having Labor on the news for the last 12 months, every day, multiple times a day, pushing their agendas with the COVID-19, how much do you think that's actually impacted not only just the regional areas, but also the city areas in the final count on this election?
Oh, it's immensely impacted. I mean, you only have to look at today's front page on the West Australian about them putting out a how to vote card on who you should vote for. It was just completely ridiculous. I non-stop, like I said, I was on the road for 8 weeks in my camper van, and all I heard people saying, I'm voting for Mark, and Mark's not even in any of these seats they were talking about. And the media marketing that has been done for Mark McGowan and the branding of Mark McGowan as a threat sort of campaign, it's been utterly ridiculous. You've got people talking about electing Mark in seats that are hundreds of kilometres away, and you ask them, well, what are the policies you like about your local candidate you're going to vote for? Oh, we're just voting for Mark. And you're going, well, they know nothing about their local candidate. They've got no policies that they even could mention, not even one. And so that marketing is just sunk into people's heads. It's like they've been brainwashed.
All right, fantastic. One more question for Phil before we got to go. We've got other interviews we have to do. Phil, do you think this will go down as the election that was stolen by the Labor government because of COVID?
Well, look, I think McGowan's played the COVID card really well. I mean, there was a time back in July when he could have relaxed the border control of medical advice, and he chose not to. And I think people really bought into the fear narrative, and fear is a great controlling mechanism. We're not saying that he necessarily did a bad job, but he's just masked the whole, he's covered all the other issues and buried them. So, in that sense, he's been gifted the election.
I have to
Alright,
comment
fantastic.
on that. It's a complete farce. That whole COVID rubbish, that's the only reason Mark McGowan's won this election. He may have won it. Liberals would have kept a lot of seats. It was a complete disgraceful thing, this whole COVID marketing campaign. It's just ridiculous. So, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, gentlemen, I hope you do very, very well in these elections. We do need to wrap this one up and head to more interviews. So I do wish you well. Enjoy your after parties, and we'll hopefully talk to you next week on the show. Thanks so much for listening.
Cheers, Travis.
All right, so we've just had Rod Caddies from the Agriculture Region for One Nation, also the One Nation President, and we also had Phil Scott, the South Metro Regional candidate in the upper house for the South Metro area. All right, we don't keep going around. We'll talk soon. head nodders. Make sure you got your beers as well.
We've got our beers.
So we got some head nodders for you, Andre.
Channel's this on?
It's 8 down in Perth. We've got Carter's Corner. Shits and giggles. So literally. About here? I'll tell you some stuff we did after this.
Okay.
Andre, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. No, honey, out there, please. Go to mum. Sorry, that's my daughter, in case you can't tell.
Yeah, got that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Travis Carter from Carter's Corner, 89.7 FM. We're back here again. We have on the phone with us right now Andrea Takagi, independent candidate and former Liberal candidate for the seat of Baldivis, south of the city. Andrea, welcome to the live stream.
And isn't all the drama happening tonight, Travis?
Well, it's been awesome. It's been exciting for a kick in the camera. It's all good. So the good thing is this is on the phone, so it's not too bad. So pretty much what's happened.
Predictable, this election, isn't it?
Well, especially with the amount of money that the Labor government has thrown out of taxpayers' funds. So in the seat of Baldivis, how have you feel the impact of Labor and the money that they've spent impacted the election and the results?
You know, Travis, I met a constituent today who said that for the first time in 4 years, they saw Reece Whitby, the incumbent Labor member. And that says a lot to me. Is he a man of the community? Questionable. He's definitely not a local. He lives in Cottesloe. Funnily enough, Liberal held seats. And, you know, that feedback from the constituents saying it's the first time they've seen him at a polling booth at election time just says so much about the fact that Labor are about marketing. They turn up at elections, turn up with their banners and want the booth. And it is propaganda line.
Oh, definitely. Now, with the results, do you think COVID, the constant 24 hours of Mark McGowan on the TV, do you think that's had a massive impact on the results of this election?
Absolutely. There is not a sign in Baldivis that does not have Mark McGowan's face right next to Reece Whitby's face. And there's a reason for that. Everyone knows that this election, it was a COVID election. Unfortunately, the common constituent is fear-mongered by the Labor Party into believing that Mark McGowan saved their lives. In fact, he didn't. He's not God, and nor will he ever save their lives.
All right. So my understanding is you haven't even had a look at the results yet. Do you plan to do that tonight?
Yeah, look, it says... obviously, the prediction is that Labor have retained their seats here in Baldivis. And look, unfortunately, for me, that means that the common person isn't thinking about the longevity of their vote, the ideology behind these parties and their agendas. We need, as constituents, to be more alert, more awake to the agendas of the parties, the two-party preferred system, in particular the major parties.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now, the question that I've got for a lot of other people, especially yourself as a former Liberal, do you think there needs to be an investigation into the Labor's spending of COVID money under the sham of a COVID pandemic?
Absolutely. And the reason, Travis, is that when I was at the Liberal Party function, I spoke to the Shadow Treasurer, who informed me that Parliament was not privy to the fact that to the surplus that Labor government has drawn in during COVID. So, for example, it's been reported that it's about 3.1 billion, but I've heard reports also of 9.7 billion. What is the correct amount? Labor Party refused to actually give the figures. They are refusing to give the citizens of Western Australia the truth about how much they have, raked in during COVID under their tax laws. It's just abominable.
100% agree with you on that one, Andrea. So we do need to go to some more interviews. I want to thank you for coming onto the show for us today. Best of luck. And final question, do you think you'll run again as an independent, or do you think you'll join another party for the next state election?
I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter. I'm so excited to continue to stand for truth justice and freedom in my community and for my nation.
Fantastic. Okay, Andrea, thank you very much for coming on the phone for us today. We're heading to other interviews now. So thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely talk to you soon.
Thanks, Travis. See you.
All right, see ya. Cheers, guys. If you guys want to watch it live, it's on my YouTube channel, Facebook pages, and a whole heap of other things. So,
I'm from Byron Bay, so I don't know.
we just made a phone call on the YouTube. So, that's like thanks for nodding your heads as well. That was awesome. I thought it was fake. Like 90% of it on
They're leaving out there, not a good spot. We older fellas are not quite good on the feet.
Sorry, it's just Dwayne keeps dropping the phone.
That's fine. So daylight is actually.
All right, Bass, we are now live. Welcome back, Travis Carter, Carter's Corner. We actually have Bass Tadros from the Health Australia Party. Come on through. Yeah, come on through. Live TV, it's awesome. So we've got Bass Tadros, Health Australia Party, candidate for the agriculture region, on the phone with us now. Bass, how's your night been?
It's been good, Travis. We've had a very long day at the polling booth here today, and yeah, look, I'm very excited, very confident that that we're going to have a good outcome.
Fantastic. When do you actually find out whether you've got yourself a seat?
I have a feeling by the way they're tallying up the numbers tonight, it may actually be tomorrow that we'll find out.
Sorry, my daughter just ran in. So you think you'll find out tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. By the way they're tallying up the numbers tonight.
Okay. So how do you feel? How do you feel the pre-polling went? The campaigning, because the agriculture region is one of the largest within the state.
Yeah, I think. Look, given we had a sort of a delayed start to campaigning because of that rushed 5-day lockdown. I think that didn't really do much favours for the smaller parties because the smaller parties need all the campaigning that they can get. And
Fantastic.
As a result of probably that lockdown and then the early voting booths opening up on the 24th of February, it hasn't done any favours for the smaller parties, put it that way.
Okay. The other question we've been asking everyone tonight is, do you think that having the Labor government 24/7 coverage of the COVID lockdown, the viruses and all that sort of stuff, do you think that's massively, effectively stolen this election from the everyday people?
It certainly hampered the mechanisms of democracy, that's for sure. So giving people a chance to look at other alternatives and look at other options, that's kind of been stolen away by that. It's an interesting campaign marketing technique, put it that way.
So we've got people coming up behind us, which is awesome. So, and Zach Kirkup is now on TV. I wonder if he's actually doing the live concession. So what we're going to do, Bass, I definitely want to talk to you more about this one. Final notes, what do you think you'd love to see done after the election to try and bring some of our democracy back?
Well, I mean, Zach Kirkup's probably going to lose his seat. It's the first time in the Liberals' history to go that way. I think Labor's pretty safe with McGowan keeping his seat in Rockingham. What's going to be a good way to keep democracy? Well, the media's got to be held accountable for a large part of this. And that would be a good start, I think.
Okay, so more truth within media. That's something I can definitely vouch for. All right, so Bass, hopefully you do find out with some good results, because we definitely need a few different voices in Parliament. So best of luck for you over the next couple of days. I hope you get in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Travis.
Travis.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So that was Bass Hadros on the phone then with us. So he was the Health Australia member for the agriculture region. So he will be finding out whether he's won a seat, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. So Bass has been on the show a few times. Best of luck from everyone at 89.7 at Carter's Corner. Right, we're going to have a look now at Mr. Kirkup to find out what's going on. I wonder if he's finally conceding with only like 3% counted. Oh, that's a bit nasty.
There's one in every crowd. Actually, that was your
Yeah, I am. I'll be back in a minute.
Caitlin's quite enjoying I've seen her a few things like that.
We are now live. Welcome back, Travis Carter, Carter's Corner, 98.7. Totally forgot the station there. I feel embarrassed. A long day. So we've actually got the Honourable Charles Smith, MLC from the West Australian Party, a long-time guest to the show. He's been on multiple times. Can't thank him enough. So we've actually got him live now on the phone as well. So Charles Smith, welcome to the show.
Hi, Travis. Good evening.
Awesome to have you back again. So, Charlie.
Thank you so much. Yep.
How's your day been? Have you been on the polling booths much today? Did you get much of a chance to get out there and talk to the constituents?
Yes, mate. We've been out all day, as we have been the last 2 to 3 weeks, on all the polling stations, trying to do our best to get people not to put in a dictatorship.
Fantastic. So it's funny you should say dictatorship there, because one of the biggest things about dictatorship is people don't get a say. How do you feel about this, effectively a political lockdown with Mark McGowan and all the COVID money that he's been spending to be on the radio 24 hours a day for the last, 12 months?
Sure. Well, the people of Western Australia have decided comprehensively to return a huge majority of the Labor to our parliament, effectively eliminating all opposition. So what the West Australian people face now, which is their decision, is just to have a one-party state for the next 4 to 8 years, and I hope that was a wise decision.
I don't know how any time that could be a wise decision. So I don't know if for the people at home watching, you can see in the background here, we do have Zach Kirkup has just conceded the loss of this election, and my understanding is he's also lost his own seat as well. Is there any hope to have an actual full opposition and shadow cabinet after this election, or will just everything be a sea of red?
No, there's going to be no opposition. what and who there is to blame is the following. We have had an enormous propaganda push by the media. Most of this blame lies with the Liberal Party themselves. The Liberal Party are to blame for this complete red wash. They have been a pathetic opposition the last 4 years. They have conducted an appalling election campaign with nobody of any influence or charisma to lead the fight. So if you want to blame somebody, we can blame the Liberal Party, and I hope that they can find people to build the party again from scratch and become a worthy opponent. Because, my God, we need one.
To be honest with you, I have not seen any fight back from the Liberal Party at all over the last 12 months, and even prior to that. So, moving forward from here, first of all, I hope you get to retain your seat because we need an opposition. But moving forward, do you know of anything that can be done to try and halt or limit the impact that Mark McGowan will have?
Mate, there's really nothing anybody can do once the chips fall. With complete control of both houses of Parliament, we are under the cost of a new one-party state. So, again, I hope West Australian people in their wisdom are going to be happy with what they've decided to do. And unfortunately, if things start to go wrong and people are upset with their decisions, well, they can have a good think about what they chose to do in this election in 2021.
Exactly. All right, so I have just seen a bit of good news. We're actually here at the Nationals after party itself. It looks like the Nationals have actually held on to 4 lower house seats in the Legislative Assembly. So hopefully the Nationals can rally and actually show some spine, show some backbone. And it looks like the Liberals have only got 2 seats. So my predictions earlier on the show saying Nationals will get 4, Liberals will get 2. Does that mean that the Nationals are now the new opposition of the Labor government?
Correct. They will hold the opposition status as the majority opposition party. And the Liberals, for all intents and purposes, are no longer any sort of political force.
They could be argued as now they're a minor party.
They are indeed.
Fantastic, Charlie. So I really, really do hope you hold your seat. I'm going to end it right here for us because we do have one more interview we need to do before we end the stream. So, Charles, you've been an absolute legend and a massive friend of the show, so I wish you best of luck on Monday and Tuesday. I really do hope you retain your seat.
No worries. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, everyone.
No worries.
See you later.
Good luck. Bye.
Bye.
Right, okay. Sorry. So what we're doing, I've got just to let people know what we are like. I don't know if you guys just want to do it. Alright, Dwayne, you got me?
I don't have an
All right, we're live.
Yeah, good.
All right, so let me just get rid of that. So we have here the effectively the hero of the show at the moment. We have Shane Love, member of the Legislative Assembly, and my understanding you've retained your seat.
Yes.
Congratulations, well done.
I hope so.
Fantastic.
49% I think counted or whatever. So we're 60%.
So,
plus. Yeah.
just for the people who are listening, one of our early shows, the first real politician we were able to get onto the show was actually Shane Love. He called in all the way. I think you were actually in either Donga or Geraldton at the time.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say he's been a massive supporter of the show since day one. So, we'll ham it up a bit. So, again, first of all, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for coming in. Congratulations on winning your seat. Now, to get to the nitty-gritty of it, how much of an impact do you think this COVID advertising for the Labor Party has actually had on, or especially the Liberals and the minor parties across Australia?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And we've seen that in Queensland, and we've seen it here tonight. So we've seen seats which have never been red, moving that way, Churchland, Steadland, South Perth. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
You know, I had no doubt that places like Hillary's etc. earned out. But those other seats, that's an enormous change. And there's no doubt it's on the back of the whole pandemic, COVID, you know.
And just purely the amount of money that's been thrown out the media companies, Channel 7, Channel 9, 10, you can't get away from it. So that's insane. So one of the great things, looking at this, you guys have had a pretty successful campaign with everything taken into account. You've now got 4 seats, over 2 from the Liberals. Does this make you guys the new opposition leaders?
Well, effectively, yes, it will be. Yeah, so, and that's something we have to work out with the other party. In the previous term of government, there was 2 parties in opposition. In this term of government, there'll be 2 parties in opposition. Obviously, we have more numbers than that. And so we'll work out arrangements between us and them, just as we did with them in the previous term.
Fantastic.
So you've got to share the resources around, but really be expecting to have a larger share of the resources this time around. It's been quite difficult to try to run a party with the very limited resources that we've been given in the past.
Especially now that you get to do all the heavy lifting in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
The question I do have, considering the level of your success you've had now, and also the fact that the Liberal Party are effectively a minor party now, do you think it's time for the Nationals to start looking at running seats in the metropolitan areas?
Well, that's a discussion for our state council, but certainly I think if you look at seats like Swan Hill, Darling Range, etc., they do have not much disparity with my own seat of more, in the sense that there's a lot of very urban people within them. A lot of people reside in the Perth Hills in my electorate as well. So there might be some discussion around that, but it's not for me to say that. That's for the state council.
All right, not a problem. So I hope there is a favourable result on that one. So again, Shane, you've been phenomenal, massive supporter of the show. So I did want to say thank you to you for this. And also, we reached out to quite a few different parties to see if we could go up to their after parties. And again, the Nationals come through. We're a community radio station that streams live. And again, they've supported us all the way. So massive thank you on that side.
We're all about community, as you can see here. Members of the community here tonight. There's not high-paid officials or political junkies. It's just local people who have come along. Some of them walk in front of cameras.
It's all good. It happens all the time. So it's part of the humour of it.
My grandchildren over there as well.
Oh, they're your grandkids?
Yeah.
Excellent.
One Shane Love is on their T-shirts as well. So there we go.
They have some awesome shirts.
Say hello, Elijah and Oliver.
So, yeah, if you do want to watch this later on, it is on the YouTube channel, so just look up Travis Carter on that one.
Good.
Now, I do have one final question for you, and I've asked a few of the other candidates and the former members of Parliament that I've spoken to today. With the amount of money that's been thrown in by the Labor government to all the advertising, the media attraction, attention they've had, Do you think it's worth getting an inquiry into the behaviour of Labor Party in the media in regards to this COVID and how it's actually affected the election? Because effectively they've stolen our democracy from us with this election.
Well, interesting. I think the caretaker conventions have been trashed to some extent. We saw a whole raft of government announcements during the caretaker period and government decisions being made. Some of those decisions have to be made. Something happens in the sense of an emergency or whatever, you make a decision. But I would have thought there would have been a process of more consultation. I believe they did consult Zach Kirkup. They didn't consult me and Davies. They should have. And so, to me, I think the caretaker conventions have been stretched to the breaking point. And there does need to be a look at, just whether or not that was appropriate. Because it isn't right for government to be making decisions in caretaker period. The classic example was the calling of a royal commission in the Crown. I mean, why they couldn't wait until after the election is beyond me. I think it was probably going to cost in the order of $7+ million. And it didn't need to have been made until post-election. So you got a particular minister, Papalia, who made that decision. Now, he may not be, even if the government, it appears they are retained, but at that point nobody knew, but even if the government had been retained, he might not be the minister. That decision should not have been made until after the election. And so that is a classic example of where they've stretched that caretaker convention beyond the breaking point.
So I do have one follow-up question with that one then. Could this be considered an abuse of office then? Now, careful, that is a very loaded question.
Perhaps I'm not quite ready to say that, but it is very concerning.
I think it's a question that Parliament does need to answer. So.
And I think it's something that needs to be looked at, because the idea that you can make significant decisions which are not time urgent, such as that Royal Commission, in the caretaker period is it's clear that you shouldn't, and that shouldn't happen.
Fantastic. So again, Shane, you've answered some curly questions there at the end, so thank you very much. Carter's Corner, and again, well done on holding your seat.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to talking to you again.
I enjoyed holding my seat.
Definitely. So again, that will be actually a wrap for us on Carter's Corner now. So again, to everyone watching, thank you very much. It's been a bit of an experiment for us, but I think we did all right, even with the Telstra downage. So anyway, fantastic. Thank you very much. You can watch this live on the YouTube, the Facebook, and it will be going to multiple sites across the world of the internet. So this is Travis Carter, Carter's Corner. Shane Love, Member of Parliament. Thank you again very much. Cheers, guys.